I have with me my guy, one of my college teammates, Anthony Parenti. He's the head of Omnia Basketball Academy, doing some great work with his skill development. And he's the assistant varsity coach at Haddonfield, head JV coach here at Haddonfield in New Jersey. Anthony's voice is gone because he's been at camp. He's running camp all day right now, so that's why his voice is a little gone. But he pushed through and pulled up for his brother tonight, so I appreciate him.
Of course.
Anthony, you were 2 years behind me, right? At Eastern, was it
I
two or
was
three?
I was three. Yeah, senior
Three,
freshman.
yeah, because I was thinking like I don't
Senior
think I
freshman.
played 2 years with him. I think it was
Nope.
just the 1 year.
Yep. Yep. It was. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I owe a lot to you. You helped me on the campus. You helped me on the basketball team. I mean, you really taught me how to be a college athlete. Honestly, I owe a lot of it to you.
Wow, that's I didn't expect you to say that. But
Yeah.
when I think about, my I was really a mess. But my senior year, I started to put things together. So by the time you met me, I was much more put together. So no, that's good to hear. Well, I did want to start with what was like your first, I want to tell you my first memory of you, but what was your first memory of me when we met in college?
Yeah, I don't know if I ever mentioned it to you either. So when I went on my visit, we played pickup. I don't know if you remember that. We played pickup.
I do.
And I don't remember who was all there, but I remember you stood out. I was like, yo, this kid's good. Like he is a college basketball player. And I remember thinking, like I think I was a pretty good defender for the high school level. I remember being like, I just can't guard him. Um, so fast forward a couple months, I want to say it was either spring or fall going into my senior year. So my dad and I go to a visit, and I'm watching the game, and I'm telling my dad like, "There's this kid Martin, and Martin's really, really good." Yada yada yada, whatever, whatever. So we get to the game, and you weren't playing. So I keep saying like, "Yo, Martin's really good. Martin's really good." I don't know why he's not playing. Maybe transfer, whatever. So at halftime, I see your brother Malcolm. And I see Malcolm. I'm like, yo, that's him. That's Martin. And I was like, wait a second, hold on a second. That's not Martin. That's
That
not
can't
Martin.
be him. That can't be
That wasn't you. So then we I think you walked in maybe like second half or something. I was like, wait a second. Now I'm really confused because I'm pretty
Oh
sure
my
that's
God.
Martin. And then I obviously once I got on campus, I kind of put it together. But yeah, I was very, 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 very confused for my first game being at Eastern.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I ever knew that. And so for anyone who doesn't know, I have an identical twin brother
Yep.
who is also gay. And so if he saw my brother and thought that it was me, it wouldn't have taken long for him to be not only confused, but to realize like that actually can't be Martin. Like that that's I'm just noticed like I don't think that's him. Yeah, I do remember playing pickup with you, and it was honestly the prototypical like who is this young kid who's coming in here who because you see, and you probably went through this a little bit in your later years in college when you get the new recruits in and kids are coming in who's on a visit or whatever. And if somebody's good, the word gets out. The
Yeah.
word gets around that there's someone on campus who's good. It happened with me when I went there. My
Yeah.
guys would tell me like, yeah, Nada Hoffer was always saying we got this guy from New Jersey. He's supposed to be this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
And when you were around, there were different like pickup sessions. So you must have played someone. A word got around that this little light skinned kid. He's Steph Curry, and this is when Steph was really turning up and becoming Steph. And everyone's just saying he's Steph Curry. He's light skinned and he can shoot. I'm like, all right, man, let me feel this kid out. And I remember playing against you, and it was one of those things where I had to like send a message essentially
Yeah.
not only because I wanted to but also because there was the way you were playing. I had such respect
Sure.
for how you played, and I'm like, no, actually I really like his game, but it's not respect time, it's message time. So that's all I remember.
I
And
felt that.
I knew you were going to be a really good college player. I mean, you just had all the stuff, all the mechanics, and it's really cool to see someone like you translate your stuff into your training and your skill development stuff now. And I hear you say things in your videos and during your sessions that remind me of things that we would practice and
Yeah.
implement, as players,
Yeah.
and making it your own too. So it's really cool hearing that, which is part of what actually inspired me to hit you up to come on here because one of the things I wanted to kind of unpack with you because you say it. I've heard you say, you probably say
Yeah,
it all the time, and I think
yeah,
it's kind of becoming a mantra is hunting great shots. And you do your runs, with Omnia, and you do your sessions, and you'll talk beforehand, and I hear you, preaching hunting great shots. What does that mean, and what does that look like for you?
sure. So we have another coach at Haddonfield, Coach Stafford, who's been there. I'm going on my 10th year. He'll be there for his 10th year as well. And he always talks about great shooters hunting their own shot, right? Like
Hmm.
coming off screens aggressively, stepping to the basketball, just moving, 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 and constantly hunting shots. And I loved that word of hunting.
Hmm.
So we oftentimes we will use the word, hey, let's the expression, let's find a great shot. Let's find a great shot. But for me, that's extremely passive. Let's find it. Let's kind of scurry around until we find it.
Hmm.
But whether we are on offense or on defense, and I think it's an interesting dichotomy for me going from like training to like skill development and high school coaching.
Hmm.
It can be different, but regardless,
Yeah.
my emphasis is being aggressive, being the aggressor on offense and on defense. So I think the word hunting is just a little bit more aggressive than finding. So you'll hear me say that a lot. As you mentioned, I'm saying it all the time. Whether you're, in college, pro, whatever, you're in fifth grade. I'm always asking, was that a good shot? And not the result of it, the process of it. Did we get a paint touch that led to a help side? Did we make the right decision? And ultimately, it comes down to decision making, right? So much
Yeah.
of our sport comes down to decision making. You can have all the skill in the world, but
Yeah.
if you don't know when to apply it or how to apply it or the context of in which to apply it, then it doesn't matter. So for
Yeah.
us, hunting great shots is something that we want to prioritize. Um, Paint touches, gaining advantages, maintaining advantages, and then just getting the best shot possible. Whether that's a make or a miss, we'll live with it. But a great shot is what we're always consistently looking for.
Yeah, and I love that concept because I'm used to hearing and saying hunting shots. Like you'll sometimes you have to. I was like this at one point, like even my sophomore year at Eastern,
Yeah,
Reels, our leading scorer, he goes down with something. I was the number two guy, just like that. I became number one, and they started telling me like, "Hey, you take probably about 12, 10 to 12 shots. We need you taking like 15 to
yeah,
18 shots a game now." And it was a thing of like, you need to start hunting shots more.
sure.
And I learned what that meant. And that felt like just as a scorer,
Yeah,
like it's not even just looking for your shot. I like how
yeah,
you said that. It's not a passive thing where just look, it's like, no, I'm aggressively
yeah.
hunting that. So I appreciated learning that as an individual scorer, but I feel like the way that you really preach it, it really reminds me, it makes me think in the 5-on-5 setting,
Mhm.
it makes me think about how you can't really hunt great shots without your teammates.
Correct.
You can be a great isolation player and that,
Correct.
that's a whole thing and sure, but like even then, the spacing on the floor, the balance of like you need to know to hunt great shots, you need to know where to even go where it
Yeah,
makes sense to get a shot for yourself.
yeah. I would agree. We do. I love to do a lot of stuff off of the ball and then just make it contextual. So, hey, Martin drives it to the nail hole and I'm on the wing. What am I doing? I'm not standing. I have to make my defender make a decision. And another thing I've been saying all summer is regardless of the decision that the defense makes,
Mhm.
it should be wrong, right? But
Mhm.
it's on the offense to make it wrong, right? Because if they overhelp, but I keep the ball, then it's the right decision. But if they overhelp and I kick it and my teammate hits an open three, great, wrong decision. But if they stay home and I'm able to turn the corner, awesome, right? So we're just
Yeah.
consistently opening those decisions. But I oftentimes won't play 5-on-5 just so that we can put a little bit more emphasis on it. So we'll go
Mhm.
2-on-2, 3-on-3,
Mhm.
even if it means getting less reps. Let's say we have 10 guys. Like I'd rather go 3-on-3 with a
Mhm.
sub than 5-on-5
Okay.
because you understand the spacing more. You have more opportunities to move.
Yeah.
You can play off of each other more, and the ball's in your hands more. Um, so that's kind of been my mantra, my thought process throughout the summer. And I think you nailed it, right? We have to be able to. It's a relational sport. Like, where am I going off of the ball? Chances are I'm not going to have it. So what am I doing in result of what my teammate does and then what my defender does? Is it a 45 cut? Is it a backdoor cut? Is it fill? Is it lit? I mean, we can go on and on, different terminology, but yeah, I think that's great.
Is an open shot always a great shot? When you define a great shot, is it just an open shot?
Now I'm putting on my high school coaching hat. No, And just because it is a contested shot doesn't mean it's a bad shot. I think it's very, very, very player dependent. Um,
Mm,
I'll use us as an example. I saw you make and take some of the most difficult get to the elbow, step back jump shots that there weren't many players that had the green light to take that shot. But if you're shooting it 55 to 60%, it's a good shot for you. But if I'm taking it and it's 30%, that's a bad shot. That's a bad shot. And those are conversations that as a coach you kind of have to have with players where you might be wide open from three. But if you're shooting 15%, that ain't a good shot. It's not a good one,
well, true.
right? But
Right.
if one a couple years ago we had a great player who was shooting great off the dribble, and he hit three after three. I think he ended up the season shooting 43% and shot it really well off the dribble as well.
Mm,
Hey, I'm not telling him, hey, that's a bad shot, because for him it's not. It's a good
mm,
one.
yeah.
Although it might be bad for 85% of the rest of our team. So I think it's player dependent. But as a on the training aspect of it, we want to encourage, hey, shoot good shots, because if we're setting goals at the beginning of the summer, hey, you shot 28% from three the last season, this season or this summer, you are shooting every open three that you get.
Yeah.
Every single one, it's a shot, because we want to get to 33, 34, whatever that percentage is
Yeah.
for next year. And you're not getting it if you're declining them for pull up jump shots every time. So
Yeah.
it's long winded, but it's player dependent.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's player dependent, it's personnel dependent. I mean,
Yep.
that's where coaching. That's why I appreciate you being in the training space and coaching high school, because I just see you being able to apply so many things to different spaces, and
Mhm.
it's interesting, and that's why I love that I have you here because I really want to get your perspective on this conversation. Like LeBron has talked about it, Draymond Green kind of echoed it, the whole thing of players today hooping versus having a
Yeah.
trainer. Where
Yeah.
are you on? I feel like we're in similar places on this because
Sure.
I'm in the training space. I haven't coached a team like that, but
Yeah.
you're in both. So
Yeah.
where are you on that? What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's so valuable to have a trainer. Not by any means a necessity.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think it's certainly valuable and it can be helpful. Excuse me, but
Why is
I
it not a necessity? What makes it not a necessity?
because I think that you can do, and I tell my players this all the time. I think I'm extremely helpful. Like I'm not going to put any of us or anybody in this training space down, but you can get very similar results by working extremely hard, by going to a trainer once or twice, or not even going on YouTube and just working on drills that you can find online, um, and just applying them on your own. My thing that I'll tell our players all the time is, yo, if you come and see me twice a week, we're here for 2 hours. What are you doing the rest of the, however many hours that we have in a week that you're up and active? If you're here seeing me twice a week, I love it. And we will get you better. But you will get so much better if you are putting in your own work, your own time, um, as best as you can, right? Like give me 2 hours. If you're with me 2 hours a week, but someone else is doing 2 hours a day by themselves,
Yeah.
that person's gonna is gonna get better.
Yeah.
You might have better footwork in one or two situations, like whatever,
Yeah.
but it's so much basketball is such a skill dependent and time variable sport. You have to be putting the time. So for me, I think it's extremely valuable to have a trainer, to have someone that sees you, that you can, hey, this is our plan for the summer. We're nailing that forward. We're really, really working on it. I have one of our players that I'm working with right now. He's 6'7" sophomore, really, really high potential, but he's really got to work on his feet. He's really got to work on being strong with the ball and having big, solid hands. We're working on that every single day that we're together. So we're seeing the growth, but if he's not putting in that time on his own, that growth is incremental, but it can be exponential if he is applying all that stuff on his own and doing it on his own, right?
Yeah.
Or, hey, dad, let him give me 30 minutes. Let's work on it. Now to kind of bring that back, hooping of just getting up and down and playing is completely invaluable for a lot of reasons. And I think it's basketball. I was feeling this from Stu. Basketball is a microcosm of life. Like you have to be able to do so many things on the court in that hooping pickup situation that you just don't get from training. Like I like to play pickup. We play pickups on Fridays with our high school guys, and I keep it as like I don't want to talk. Like I want to be there, and if something is an issue, I'll step in. But if you think you got fouled, speak up, advocate for yourself. If you think somebody traveled, speak up, advocate for it. If you see a teammate who's struggling in a certain situation, go grab them, talk to them, communicate with them, um, and just finding different ways to play and just playing basketball. I remember going to play all the time, just going when grew up in Philly, grew up in, Willingboro, New Jersey, kind of bounced back and forth. We would just go hoop. Like we would just go and just play. We had two or three guys, and we just go and play. Now it seems like if we're playing pickup, it's like an organized, hey, let's go with our 8 guys, and our 8 guys are playing. It's 4-on-4, and that's it. Like, well, I don't,
Yeah.
there's another random guy who's there. All right, I guess we're just playing 4-on-4, and he's, SOL. Um, I think it's invaluable to play, but there is value to both.
I think you said it perfectly. Like it's not a one or the other.
Yeah.
It really should be both. Like
Yep.
I think there is, and because there is so much access and so many trainers, and
Yeah.
some feel like it's kind of oversaturated or whatever. I mean, there's
Sure.
it's a it's been a growing industry.
Yeah.
But I think part of it is because there's a lot of people, former college players like us, former pros, like players, and people who know the game who took the opportunity to, build Omnia, to build basketball society, or to just help out kids in their neighborhood or whatever the case, like who really have something to offer.
Sure.
So I think there's a lot of value in like finding the right kinds of trainers, right
Yeah.
kinds of people who really fit and can give you things that, like you said, hopefully you can take out and then like work on and build on your own. I think it's got it. I Nowadays, I firmly believe it should be a both and thing because
Sure.
you hear plenty of people complaining about the AAU
Oh yeah.
travel basketball atmosphere, and
Yep.
like it, and that's a whole thing in itself, and it's tough because that's where the games are. That's where most of the hooping is happening, right?
Right.
It doesn't feel like the same atmosphere of kids hooping outside like when we were kids, right? That does feel like it's like I think in some cases it's overblown. I think kids are probably playing somewhere during the
Sure.
right. They're playing places, LA Fitness and stuff. Like there's
Mhm.
places to play, but for youth basketball, AAU is still the main place where you get that kind of volume of game experience, and then obviously the opportunity for exposure in front of
Yep.
coaches. So it's like you need to have a solid operation of both, not just the hooping without training, not just the training without hooping. It's a really nuanced thing. I know you've seen and come across tons of examples of parents
Tons.
and players looking for the right formula, right?
Yep.
It's like they're trying to put together the right formula for their kid or for their player.
And I think for each kid, it's different. Like some kids need a ton of skill work,
Yeah,
and some kids have a
right.
ton of skill and have no idea how to apply it. So I think it's like you said. I think nuance is a really, really good word to kind of describe it. It's nuance, and it's not the same for every kid. And it's just finding a good balance and the correct balance.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's up to the adults to kind of find that as best as possible.
What do you remember about learning how to become a basketball player in
Sure.
college?
So I remember you mentioned it already. I think the two biggest things when you adjust to any level is the strength and the speed.
And the speed.
Like it, you go to. I try to get to as many college practices during the winter as I can, and sometimes I'll go directly. Like let's say we practice from 3 to 5:30, and I'll try to zip over to Rowan. Rowan's really close to me. It's like 30 minutes.
Okay.
I'll try to get to Rowan at 6 o'clock. It's like a different sport. Just like the way that the ball's moving, the way that the athletes are flying around. Um, so adjusting to the pace is crazy. And I remember just trying to get up and down and trying to keep up with these 21, 22-year-old men, both physically and wisdom wise. It's like it's just a massive adjustment. So I just remember trying to soak up as much information as I could from as many people as I could. I was really fortunate, as you remember, you guys had a great senior class, and not just really, really talented, but they were old, they were experienced, and they were vocal. So I just tried to listen and soak up as much as I could while I was competing with you guys. Um, whether it was in the weight room, on the turf field, or on the court. So I was fortunate to have leaders like you and Martin and Alex and Mitch and Don and Tony. Like you guys were awesome. So those were my big adjustments: physicality, strength, speed, and then just the wisdom of it, like just knowing where to be. Because when you're in high school, so many, I mean, how many times can you just rely on, okay, I'm a better athlete. I'm just better than this person. Um, that doesn't always happen in college, right? You've got very, very similar athletes, very, very similar skill set. It's the little things that separate. So paying attention to details, all that stuff really, really adds up.
I was saying a couple of my guys who are sophomores and juniors now over the summer, I was asking them like, yo, the freshmen that are coming in and playing this summer, your pickups and your runs and stuff, you're noticing now that you're like playing a different game than them,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
like they're like a whole step behind. It's like
Yes.
they're coming from a different world of basketball. Like you said, they're it's like you're trying to keep up.
Mhm.
I remember being in that same spot, and you're trying to figure out how to get to your stuff
Yeah.
within the flow of this
Yep.
like elevated and increased speed and strength. And it's like, can I get to my pull up three?
Mhm.
Can I do these things? What what do you remember about like what it took to adapt and adjust and become? I know you mentioned like listening and taking in a
Yep.
lot of information, which is really important. But what kind of things did you do in terms of your game? Because you became a very good college player. I mean, explain what that took and what you remember needing to do to make that happen.
Sure. I think it was honestly a big, big look in the mirror and figure out the things that I needed to improve on. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I recognized, and looking back now, I did my left hand in high school was not good
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't need one. I could just beat you to my right, and I had different options going to my right. So great, I could do that. And then once I started realizing, like, I really am not super comfortable going to my left. Certainly not as comfortable going to my right. I have to rep it. I have to rep it. I had to just figure out, identify the things that I had to do better. Another thing for me was my strength. I came into college 150 pounds maybe. And when I was getting screened by these 22-year-old men, I was getting clobbered. And that was before the, hey, let's just switch everything. Like I had to fight through, and I was just getting blasted. I'm trying to get around the screen. I just
That
couldn't
was
do it.
before Switch Everything, and
Yep.
that was before we were not doing. It
No,
was not as much of a Switch Everything,
no,
even 10 years ago. That was
no.
really it was hedge and recover,
Yes, I remember fighting over screens, and if we did switch, that was even worse because now
right?
I'm behind a 6'8" kid. I can't even like get around him. But I really, really had to just take a look in the mirror, identify like, listen, I'm not as good as I thought I was.
Mm,
I've got to work on X, Y, and Z, and
mm,
I got to be accountable because if I have all these goals, I got to attack my weaknesses.
mm.
Um, Again, like using that word attack and hunt, and figure out what you're not great at, and if you really want different results, then you got to do some different stuff, do some different things. So repetition, repetition, repetition. I still remember doing a ton of workouts with you, our wingman stuff, um, and just identifying things that I could do to contribute to help the group and to get on the court.
Tell me like what your feelings were about Division 3 basketball,
Sure.
and like were you surprised by I mean, describe what the competition level was like, and like if you were surprised by it, and even if you could kind of tie it into today, what you hear from,
Yeah.
players and just their feelings about D3. I mean, we're both D3 products, and I know we both saw a ton of players who, whatever the case, may or may not have belonged in Division 3, if
Sure.
you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
it can be a strange place, but you see so much talent, and I mean, a lot of it sometimes doesn't even make sense. But to
Sure.
share some of your experience with that and what that was like for you.
Definitely. So, truthfully, in high school, I was definitely ignorant. I couldn't have told you if you would ask me going into my junior year for 5 Division 3 schools. I don't think I would have been able to. So I definitely came in with when I was going through my recruiting process with a stigma of like, it's Division 3, right? It's Division 3, and I wholeheartedly expected to, play my way through my senior year to get a scholarship. Like I'm going Division 1, I'll be Division 1, whatever. Um, and it didn't materialize, which was fine. until I started really, like I mentioned, playing against Division III players on my visits. And I was shocked at how good the level was. And then going to practices, going to games, and just seeing how different it was than what I was doing. And then once I got to Eastern, I mean, you've seen, like you mentioned, so many high level players playing Division III that, and I see it now with my training. Like I'll see some Division III players that will be frying Division I players. Like it's not infrequent. We played, and you see it every year. Division III program beats Division I programs in these beginning of the year scrimmages, whatever. And obviously, it's your Eastern's not beating Duke, but
Sure.
when you get to the higher level, high levels of Division III,
Yeah.
the low levels of Division I, there ain't much of a difference.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, it's just the size. There's Division III center 6'6", Division I center might be 6'10", right?
Yeah.
That's really the differences. When I was at Eastern my junior year, we took UMBC to overtime.
Mm.
And they hit a three at the buzzer of fourth quarter, or I'm sorry, of the second half, to send it to overtime. Like I thought we were better than them.
Wow.
And then I think that was a Friday, and then we played Cabrini, who was top 5 in the country, and they smacked us by 40. And Cabrini would have beaten UMBC handily.
Did you ever beat Cabrini in your career?
No, we beat them the year after when I
After
was
you left?
coaching at Eastern. Yep. Shout
Okay.
out Malcolm Garrison, hit that three at the or
That's right.
right at the buzzer, or
That's right.
second left. But you'd be shocked at the level, for those listening. If you aren't familiar with Division III, you would be shocked at how talented Division III players are. It's definitely got a stigma. Even when I say it now, some of my players will ask, "Coach, you play college?" Like, yeah, I played Division III, and the response was like, "Oh, like."
Yeah.
You can kind of feel that there's
Yeah.
whatever.
Or they're like, really?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
really? Like,
Gotten that
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is extremely high level. And I can't stress enough when players are going through that recruiting process and they think that they might be better than Division III. I'm like, just go to a practice, go to an open gym,
Yeah.
and then come back and check in with me. Like if you still feel that way, we'll have that conversation. But
Yeah.
a lot of times you're not. A lot
Yeah.
of times they're not. We've had, I'll speak from my experience playing at or coaching at Haddonfield. We've had, I'll give one of our former players, I won't use him by name, but he was incredible. When we won our state championship, he was one of, if not our best players on the floor. I mean, he was 6'8", he shot threes, he dunked on people, he took charges, he hit
Wow.
the floor like he did. He was spectacular. And he played Division III basketball. He just graduated from Rowan and was an awesome Division III player.
Yeah.
But he played Division III basketball.
And I'll say, like, listen, college basketball is college basketball.
Yes.
It's grown men. It's
Yep.
going to be faster, stronger, better. Schemes are better. You've got
Yep.
scouting reports that are just better. Like, it's going to be better. Honestly, and it's like, when you think about it, it's very ignorant to even think that if you're, so good, if you're a 6'8", whatever, if you're a stud in high school, just a stud, you'll walk into D3 and dominate day one.
Yep.
Like that's ignorant. That's
Yep.
more likely than not going to be. That's more likely not going to be the case.
Correct.
Who were some of the best guys you played against in college?
I'm not great with names. I'll remember faces better than names. But going to the Division I, Division III conversation, when I was a sophomore at Haddonfield, we played South Jersey semifinal against Camden.
Okay.
And their best player was Aaron Walton Moss, who I think he was South Jersey Player of the Year that year. But he ended up going, I forget, he committed somewhere Division I, and life happens. I forget exactly. But a couple years later, he ended up at Cabrini.
Oh.
So he was there my junior year. Juniors, I forget. He was there. We had overlapping time. He was awesome. National Player of the Year.
Wow.
He was great. Like I give him his flowers. He was great. Mike Coleman, I want to say, from DeSales, was such a tough guard. 6'1", great bounce, could get to the bucket, was on balance. He was a year or 2 years older than me. He was extremely hard to guard.
DeSales always had good guards, man. They
Always,
had
always.
Braswell was during my time.
Yep.
Darnell Braswell, he was the truth, man, the real deal. Brian Hunter too, he was a killer.
I feel like I remember that name, Brian Hunter. Was he
Yeah.
your year?
I think so, yeah. You
Yeah,
might have seen him your freshman year. I think you
sure.
played against him. Yeah.
Um, Del Val always had good guards. They had a
Always.
guard who was about 5'8", he was so tough to guard because he was so quick and so low to the ground.
Was it James Jones? Was that James Jones or no? Because he
No, no,
okay.
he was my year.
It was your year? Okay, so it was
Yep,
after me. Because I don't
yep,
look, man, it felt like every year Delval had the exact kind of guard you just named. James
sure.
Jones was the one during my time. He was
There it
5'9",
goes.
5'10", just quick, shifty, off the
Yep,
bounce, hit the
yep,
three. Like, just they always had a guard like that, man.
always. Um, so those couple come to mind. Manhattanville had a really good guard.
Mm,
Um, I forget his name too, but just it felt like every night we were going against
yeah.
a good guard, like a guard that if you left him open, he was going to make the right read. He was going to make a good decision. He was strong with the ball. Um, and those would be the ones that certainly come to mind.
Yeah.
If I really sat and thought about it,
Yeah.
I feel like there'd be some more that came to mind, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I felt like I was always going against great bigs, man. I
sure.
felt like the MAC had skilled bigs. Wilkes always had that.
Yeah,
A couple years we played against Wilkes, they literally had a front line 3 through 5, all 6'6" and above. All could post, all could
sure.
shoot, all slow and unathletic,
Yeah,
but just beat you up inside, just couldn't stop
sure.
them.
Sure.
King's College had a great big one year. Same kind of thing, just big, doughy,
Yeah.
like just throw it into him. He just takes his time, back you down, jump
Yeah.
hooks, jump hooks all day. Like,
And you
man,
don't see that anymore. You
no.
really don't see that anymore. And it was such a tough guard. If you had a really good big who could make good decisions on a double, if they could swing it, or if it's 1-on-1, that thing is going in the bucket.
Yeah,
It's tough. It's really, really tough.
yeah. Man, Anthony Parenti, my guy, man. It's great to have you here. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate you, bro. Keep
Thank
up
you
the
so
good
much for
work
having
too,
me.
man.
Listen, it's been a pleasure. I got to give you your flowers. You do such an incredible job. Great follow on Instagram. Great follow on YouTube. You're great, and I appreciate it. Thank you for setting the tone and blazing the path for us.
Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe to Basketball Society right here on YouTube so you don't miss any more episodes and you can stay tapped in.